Hello there, WiseDragon here. This week we'll be looking at why you should play Grim Fandango. You know what, I never sat down and thought to myself, do you know what game I'd like to see? One where you're a Grim Reaper / travel agent caught in a Mexican themed limbo looking to earn a ticket to an eternity of freedom by saving a woman who'd had her memories misplaced. Yet here we are. I'd only heard of rumours of Grim Fandango's Majesty back in the 90s. It was the adventure game that could be compared to the likes of Monkey Island. Unfortunately, I wasn't interested in those type of games back then. To be honest, I don't think I would have had the patience for it back then anyway, but we'll get to that later. So let's look at it now, 18 years on. Even though what you're looking at's the remastered version, the game hasn't aged well in a lot of places. I guess that's all part of the old nostalgia, plucking on those heartstrings, remember the good old days when backgrounds looked like oil paintings vibe. I don't really have a problem with it, because backgrounds and textures don't make a game great. The same way a book cover doesn't mean squat if the book you're reading's an insult to the tree the paper's made from. Besides, you're given the option to revert the graphics to their original form anyway if you're not a fan of the super defined characters against smudgy backgrounds. So yeah, why does this game have such a pedigree then? Why did it even deserve a remaster in the first place? Well, as anyone who's played the game will tell you, it's an experience you'll rarely get anywhere. Grim Fandango's world, or underworld I guess, is a film noir cavalcade inspired by Dia de Muertos, which is fitting given the tone of the narrative. From the giant cat racetrack of Rubalcaba...
Oh, I don't have a betting stub. Oh, okay, bye!
...to the petrified forest crawling with fire beavers. It's weird and wonderful as much as it is treacherous. The jazzy, Latin-inspired music throughout the game fits the mood of whatever you're doing perfectly, and adds that little touch of class to proceedings. The writing's clever and engaging.
On second thought, I want to upgrade my package.
Sorry, Bruno, but you didn't qualify for anything better. But here, have this complimentary mug.
You know it's good when you can't help but explore every dialogue option available, just to hear another witty quip from the main man, Manny Cavalera, who's probably one of LucasArts' finest creations.
Intimidating me?
He might be a skeleton, but he's more human than most video game protagonists. Manny might steal the show, but the whole game's full of cleverly conceived characters, each with their own unique personalities. Your driver and sidekick, Glottis, is a big lovable monster that sounds like he was voiced by JonTron, and is easily a crowd favourite.
Oh yeah, slam the front into the weeds, tub the rear end, dual blowers popping out of the hood.
You'll meet lazy beatniks, shady lawyers and disgruntled worker bees, and you'll have to win most of them over in some way to progress through the story. In doing so, you'll find yourself in situations only a Grim Reaper can handle, like fishing metal detectors out of giant litter trays, or performing open heart surgery. The laughs rarely come at anyone's expense either. Even the most mercurial NPCs have their dignity with some chuckle-worthy moments.
Popped another one. Lousy, bony fingers.
So, as far as the story goes, Grim Fandango's a cult classic, and rightly so. However, how the game works might put people off for a bunch of reasons, one of the main ones being the difficulty. The game's clearly aimed for the mature mind in the sense that it's dealing with issues of morality and finding the funny in the afterlife. But regardless of age in this game's demographic, some of the puzzles in Grim Fandango will stump you. I don't care what kind of brain capacity you may incapacitate, there's some shit in this game that'll have you running around like an idiot for a large chunk of time, or wondering how anyone would have cracked this shit without some kind of walkthrough. Oh, it took me ages to find this thing. Right, it'll point where I should go. Right, that way. Onward, Glottis. Let us go. What? Let's just try them all, because one of them's gotta be it. And this one. In there. What the hell? Stupid, where am I supposed to go? Oh, I knew it, I was just there. Yeah, right, that one. What the hell? Oh, finally! Is that it? Yes! Those bloody holes didn't even matter! I didn't even need to go in the holes! They were there for no reason! Stupid holes! Most of the challenges require you to find items, and then find the right use for said items. Hell, you might find an item in one level only to use it 3 levels later. Thankfully, Manny's suit jacket where you store your items never gets over encumbered, so you can nab anything that might catch your eye in the hope that it'll have some beneficial value later on. You'll also have to combine a bunch of items to get the best use out of them. Let me give you an example. So there's a guy who makes balloon animals. You have to get one before you meet a vigilante group who need pigeon eggs in order to breed carrier pigeons. Oh, you'll also need some bread. To get to the eggs, you have to break into an office and find a hunk of coral to tie to a rope to reach the ladder to the roof, and then you got to use the balloon and the bread together to attract and scatter the pigeons on said roof. It sounds simple when you break it down, but it isn't. There's a large amount of relying on one's own common sense and a ton of guesswork. In small doses, it gives the player a sense of freedom in their actions and choices, but when you're forced to search high and low for something or someone, it can get tiresome, simply because it takes so long. Sure, figuring out the more fiendish problems is deeply satisfying, and that's all part of the experience, but a mini-map of some kind or teleport system wouldn't have gone amiss in the remastered version. Maybe even a hint system you could toggle on and off for when you're really being punished. These are little grievances that could have been rectified for the modern gamer, who, with all respect, aren't as diligent compared to the bygone yesteryears of gamers. I guess they were just made different back then. There are some really cool features in the remastered version, like the art gallery and the director's commentary from Tim Schafer and the production team. It's great to hear their point of view on what they envisioned, and their comments and background stories make light of something they worked very hard on back in the day, without giving away any of the plot or item locations. While it does stumble in places, Grim Fandango stands tall for a game made in 1998, and deserves the affection it's garnered over the years. The mind-numbing puzzles and relatively early peak can't be ignored, nor can everything that's done right, which is pretty much everything else. I wholeheartedly encourage you to give Grim Fandango a try, because it's timeless, and a heap of fun when you really get stuck into it. It's a game that could have easily been a movie, and a throwback combined with top-notch storytelling that will most surely put a smile on your bony face. That's all for me, and for more rants, news, chats and reviews, subscribe to WiseDragon. It would be wise to do so.
Ooh.